Welcome back. Today we are going to add our enemy character to our game. If you've missed the previous videos, you can check them out here on my YouTube channel, Paul Fritz Animation. It's the Making a Game in Unreal Engine series. This is going to be video number 8. Remember to like the video if you like what you see and subscribe to my channel. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a little bit about what it is we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to add our character in and we're going to start doing some of the animation. And if I hit play there. Alright, so we've got our game character in already, but what we need to do is we need to add the animation. Well, first we need to find our character and add the animation into our character and get it all set up so that the animation works, and then when our character attacks us, does this little attack scene, and it also has a little idle to it. Now we're not going to add the mutants in, we're going to just go ahead and do the spiders, and that will be a lot easier to do, and at some point we'll be able to go over the process of figuring out how to add additional characters if that was something you wanted to do. Alright, so let me go ahead and move this over out of the way and get us started where we left off with this scene. Again, with our character just being able to run around. The first thing we need to do is we need to actually find our character that we're going to use. In this case, I've got a couple different ones that you can choose from a couple different sites. This first one is the one that I used in the scene, and I'm going to use it again. And note that if you use a different character, the animation cut-ups may not be identical to mine, and there may be some things that aren't identical. But that's up to you. You're going to have to work through that process and decide if that's something you want to try to do on your own, and then kind of troubleshoot some of the little things that might pop up for the differences. But for that spider I was using, I've got it from here, which is at gamedevmarket.net. You will need to sign up for this and create an account to be able to download things. And then all I did was, this is a free asset, and I typed in spider here in the search. And then over here on the left hand side for all the categories and stuff, you can kind of peruse through this and see what else they have. But I picked the free only ones for spiders, and this is it right here, this spider creature. I'm going to go ahead and view this asset. Now, one of the things that if you go completely off script and pick something other than what I'm showing you here, you do need to make sure that it has some sort of an animation sequence added to it. And one of the nice things about this is this one has broken down all of the animation sequences here into these individual pieces. Now, sometimes when you download assets, like if you were to download one of the ones off of the Mixamo site, then they would already come with these separate animation segments. This one is going to come with all the animation done as one complete segment. And what you're going to see here is these 15 different animations are broken out by frames. Okay, so from frame 0 to 45 we have that walk, 46 to 65 attack, and so on and so forth all the way through. And you have a couple different idle choices. And we'll take a look at this once we get it downloaded and opened up. So anyway, this one was specifically designed for Unity apparently, but don't worry, it's going to work in Unreal Engine as you saw. So basically you're going to go ahead and find it, you'll download it, then it'll go to your orders section, and once you select the orders, you download it from here. Another choice is this spider here that's on Turbo Squid. And again, it's kind of the same sequence. You just go ahead and type in spiders. And then find price. Under price, you select free. And there are a lot of different ones in here, but you want one that's actually animated. And this is the one that I identified for the same reason as the other spider. Now, with it selected and it's animated, if you scroll down here, this one has, again, several different animations. Now, what we're only going to worry about is the walk, we're going to worry about an idle, and then some sort of an attack and a death. So this one would work just fine. It doesn't have, I don't believe, as many animations as the other one, but that's not a big deal. So this one would work as well, and it's set up to be able to work in Unreal Engine. So either one. Now again, because these frames are different than the frames that I am using, you would have to go through and do different numbers for the frames for when we cut up the animation when I show you how to do that. So just something to think about. I have not used this spider, so I can't give you a lot of detail about it. Alright, so those are the locations where the spiders are. The next thing to do is, once you download it, you're going to have to unzip it and put it somewhere in a folder. So once it's unzipped, I have a folder where I keep some 3D models. This one is what it's called, it's Spider for Unity. And then if we jump into that folder, we want to go into Assets and then Spider right here. Okay, and then we have the spider. There are several different color maps here. You see color. This end map is the normal map, so that's something we're also going to need. We don't need the JPEG metas. We're just going to go ahead and pull in the color ones there. So I'm going to pull this off to the side for a second. Go back into my content folder, and let's see here in my blueprints we have one called Pawns, which is our character that we're going to play with, right? So the next one we want to do is back here in blueprints. We're going to make another folder, and I'm just going to call this one enemy. Okay, and inside the enemy folder I'm going to make an additional folder, because you can always come back in and add other enemies. You may want to play around with different things once you understand the process. And I'm just going to call this one Spider. We could get specific if we wanted to have multiple types of spiders, but right now we only have this one. And I'm going to open that folder up. And the things I want to pull in, I'm going to just grab this one first and drop it in. And then we see that we have, it's going to want to import the skeletal mesh, import mesh. We want everything the way it is. We want to go ahead and import the animations as well. So go ahead and click on that and say import animations. And it's going to kind of do this weird funky thing where the spider's kind of like standing up, but when the character's actually moving, it'll work correctly. So that's all right. We can go ahead and say import all. And now we have the spider in. Let's go ahead and pull in our different color maps. So I'm just going to select these. Okay. And drop those in there. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and minimize that out of the way. And it's just saying that end map was imported as a normal map, which is what it is. That's this map right here. It's going to give the texture to the character. So the next thing we want to do is we want to set up the material, and we have several different colors in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have this default material. So if I were to open up this character, okay, see that this is the physical asset to the character. These are the animations to the character. To open this up, and this looks kind of weird. Like I said, it's going to come in at this strange angle right here. It's not really going to affect things any, but in order to be able to see what's happening, we probably do want to select it and move it up above the ground here. If I can grab it. You know what? Let's go ahead and stop this animation. Pull it up. Okay. We'll come back to the animation here in a bit. Maybe not in this video, but we will get back to it. Now the next thing is we want the actual spider itself. So let's go ahead and open this up. And this is where we have our default material slot. We open this up. This is what the default material looks like. So what we're going to want to do is change out our material for this character. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. You can see there's no textures applied to it. All I did is move things around, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our option here, and I'm just going to go ahead and um, duplicate this default material a couple times. We could create a new material, and in fact, let's go ahead and do that so we can see the process. I'm going to go ahead and right click. We're going to go into materials and textures, and I'm just going to select a regular material. Okay, and we're going to call this M underscore, and I'm just going to pick one of these colors to show you the process. You can just do one if you want, or you can do all of them, depending on what color you want to end up making your spider. This time I'm going to go with the red, so I'm going to go ahead and call this red spider. Okay, and now I'm going to double click on that, open it up. And what I want to do, this is just a real simple little process. So I'm going to pull this down real quick because there's only a couple materials in this. And I'm going to grab this red one and the normal map. You're going to need the normal map for whichever one you pick. I'm going to drop both of those in. And now I'm going to go ahead and connect these up. Just a real simple connection. I'm not going to get too fancy with this. RGB there. And then this is a normal. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and go back into here. And this is where we're going to, since we're inside our blueprints, our enemies for our spiders, definitely need some blueprints, right? So let's go ahead and make a new folder, and we may add some additional folders to kind of clean this thing up. And we're just going to go ahead and call this folder enemy blueprints. Oops. All right, so enemy blueprints. Double click in there. Right click, and we're going to go ahead and add a blueprint class. And we want to select the character one. The character one is going to come with some presets already in it that make it easier for us to set up our character. So we go ahead and select that. And this is going to be called BP. And since mine is the red spider, I'm going to call blueprint red spider, just in case you want to have more than one different color spider. Okay. Double click that. Now, here on the mesh, I'm going to go ahead and find my spider, my skeletal mesh of my spider right here. Okay. And right here where the material is for this character. Now we're going to have to readjust everything and get all set up. But let's go ahead and get the color added to it first. So I'm going to go ahead and find my material red spider. There it is, material red spider. I'm going to add that. It's going to take a second for it to build up. There we go. Now our spider's got material on it. There we go. And let's go ahead and rotate our spider 90 degrees to where the arrow is. Okay. Pull it down a little bit, line it up with that arrow. We're going to have to come back in, make some adjustments to the capsule as well. And let me see, maybe we'll do that. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go ahead and just select the capsule. And what we want to do is we want to select the capsule's height. Now, just kind of messing around with the character to begin with. The scale that I came up with for the capsule that works pretty well for moving around the way I have my game set up around the trees and things like that is right here for this particular character. I got it to be 52. And the reason why I don't go all the way down to the small scale of the spider is the smaller we get it, the harder it is to hit with your machine gun. So you got to keep that in mind. And then the capsule radius, 34, 33 is what I actually set it to, but not a really big difference there. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and compile it and save it. All right, so now we've got our spider downloaded. We've got it set up so that we can start adding some blueprinting to the event. And let's go ahead and get it so that our character is so that our spider is moving, and then we can kind of test that out and see how that works. So let's go ahead and we may have to scale this guy down too, or scale him um, inside the game as well. And we'll see what that looks like here shortly. Let me see here. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick right here. So the mesh, now the scale of the spider I had in the scene to get it bigger, because this is kind of small. I wanted it to be big enough to be kind of threatening and scary. You can set it however you want, but I'm going to lock this so I keep all three the same. I'm going to put this at 1.75, and you can see that kind of really adjusted the way my spider was sitting in here. Pull him back down a little bit. Let's see what this actually looks like once we get him in the scene. Okay. Arrow component. That'll work. Can't see the arrow component now. That's all right. We're going to compile it, save it. Let's go ahead and get into our scene here real quick and pull this guy into the scene just to kind of see what he looks like as far as scale. Not too bad. All right. Not very threatening since he looks more like a statue right now. Okay, so now we've got our spider in the scene. Let's go ahead and get our spider moving so that it's a little bit more threatening. Now the animation is not set up. This is just going to get our initial setup for our spider. So what we want to do is we want to go here to your event graph, and at event begin play, which is this one right here. I'm going to pull this node up a little bit. What we're going to do is set up a couple things first. Okay, so we want to create our first function in here, because the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our spider is alive, right? It's going to move towards our character. Shouldn't move while it's dead, right? So let's go ahead and set up our isAlive function. So over here on the right hand side, we're going to create a new function. Hit the little plus sign there, and this is going to be called isAlive. Okay, so and it can be one word, 2 words. It depends on how you want to set it up. And it's a really simple function. Now this one is going to be a pure and constant. Okay, so over here on the right hand side, make sure you check these marks right here. Select the little node and put those in there. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create a variable. We need a variable in here to determine dead. So dead is going to be a Boolean, so it's already set up red as a Boolean, and it's going to be a true or false situation. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Now the next thing we want to do is we're going to pull this out. We're going to get dead. Okay, and in order for it to be alive, it's not dead, so we're going to go ahead and get a pull off of there, type in not. We want a not Boolean. Okay, so not dead. And then we need a return node to be able to return that information. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull that out, get the return node. Attach that up into there, and there we have it. This is our isAlive function. Let's save that. Now we're going to go ahead and go back to the event graph. So in order to pull that out, what we need to do is we're going to do a branch, just like we did before when we checked our main character. So our player character, if our player character was alive, we did a branch. Oops, to type the words incorrectly. Okay, and our condition is going to be this function is alive. Okay. So we just pull that function out. attach the isAlive function. Now, from here, I'm going to just pull this out. Okay. And we want AI move to. Okay. And pull out from here. Okay. Let's see here. Pawn should be self. That is not it. Hold on. Okay, so what we want to do is right click here. Had a moment there for a second. There we go. We want to get self. Attach that into there. So the pawn is going to be the self, our character, and then our enemy character. And then the target actor is going to be get player pawn. No, player character. Get player character. There we are right there. Get player character. Okay. That's who the AI is going to move to. So our self is going to move to our AI character. And then we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of a delay in, so kind of a moment for it to think about it. So let's go ahead and on success getting there, it's going to delay. And then this will also be on fail. So if it doesn't get to our character, we're also going to have it continue to move even if it failed. We're going to put a duration in. We're going to leave the duration at 0.2 for right now. And now once all this is done, we need to continuously do this. This is something that we don't want it to just move to and then stop, right? If we were to implement this right now, basically what would happen is, go ahead and demonstrate it real quick. So if I go ahead and hit play, okay, it's not moving at all. Let's see what I forgot to do. Probably forgot to save it. That would be nice. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. We actually have to give something for it to move on. So even if I hit play right now, nothing's going to happen. And the reason being is we actually have to put a navigation plane into our area for it to be able to know where it can move. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Basically what we want is a nav mesh. So let's go up here to our place actors. Let's go to nav mesh. Okay, let's put this down here into our scene. Okay. And if you hit P on the keyboard, so you hit P on the keyboard, you'll see this little green area start to fill in where it can move. And this volume is what will determine that. So it's pretty small right now. We need to make it as big as our gameplay area is going to be. Right now I'm just going to give it kind of a space in this area right here. But as we build our game out, we're going to want to adjust this probably. Okay. I'll just pull this back a little bit. Just for testing purposes, we're just going to go ahead and make it this big right now. It looks like I can go up on the deck, up into the house and stuff. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to hit P again to get rid of that. Hit play. And now you can see that they are coming right to me, but as soon as they get there, and if I move away, they do not move anymore. That's as far as they go. So that's why we need to make this a continuous process. So we're going to make this a loop. So I'm going to go ahead and pop back in to our blueprint, and we're going to make this a loop. Now, if you remember, basically we want the completed process, and we want to go all the way back to the beginning to the branch, because we want to double check, make sure that the character is still alive, that our enemy character is still alive. I'm pulling this out a little bit so I can kind of expose this pin right there. I'm going to double click on this surface right here and create a new little pin there, so I can kind of loop this around so we can see what's happening. Do the same for this end. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. Alright, so now we can see that we have a loop set up around here. Now I'm going to go ahead and compile it, save it, go back in, hit play, and they run to me, and as I run away they will continue to chase me. Now, they're moving really fast. We want to give our character a little bit of a chance. So let's go ahead and adjust the spider's speed real quick. Now if we go back into our blueprint for our spider, right here where it says character movement, if we select on that, and over here on the right hand side, you can see that there's all these different things you can come in here and adjust on your character. Now, our character max walk speed is currently set at 600. So I'm going to make it so our player character has kind of a fighting chance to be able to run away, get set up, and try to shoot again. So I'm going to make this spider just a little bit slower. And this again is something that you as a game designer have to decide what you want to set it at. You know, I'm just going to put 500 in there right now, see what that looks like. Now, my character should be able to slowly get away from the spiders. Slowly outrun them. Okay, and they stop because this is where there's no nav space. Now if I jump back up here, that spider down there might be stuck because it fell off the edge of the world for it as far as it's concerned. So there we have it. We now have our enemies selected, they're set up, and we're all good to go. So that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we're going to start tackling the animation blueprint and making it so that our enemy spider actually looks like it's walking towards us, and we'll get all that set up. So again, thank you for watching my video. If you want to go back and catch up on some of the past videos, go ahead and visit my YouTube channel, Paul Fritz Animation. Subscribe to it, like it if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.